All right, you're gonna start with your chicken wings. If you have fresh wings, that would be better. I also prefer whole wings when I'm doing this style of chicken. I don't know why. I think that's probably because that's how they do it to carry out. But anyway, I got about 2 pounds, maybe 2.5-ish pounds. These were frozen wings that I defrosted because I just already had these in, but I feel like fresh wings is always better. Anyways, we're gonna use some soy sauce. I'm not measuring nothing, okay? I'm just doing what I do. A little sesame oil. I like to use a little Maggi. And y'all tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I never really knew. A little garlic pepper. A very little bit of salt. Then we need some Chinese cooking wine. And then last, I'm gonna add in an egg. You really could just do the egg yolk, honestly, but I'm not for wasting anything, so we're gonna put the whole egg in there. And then we just gonna mix this all together. Oh shoot, I forgot my sugar. Moving too fast, y'all, hold up. Hold up. And a little sugar. Now we're gonna mix everything up. And we're gonna let this sit and marinate for about 2 hours. My wings are still partially frozen. So I'm just gonna let them sit, you know, right here on the counter. They're nice and cold. If you're using wings that are fresh, you can wrap them and put them in the fridge for 2 hours, but then you still need to pull them out and let them come to room temperature, okay? So we're gonna let these sit. Yes, I forgot the 2 important ingredients, duh. You're gonna need some cornstarch, and you're gonna just do half cornstarch, half flour. Again, I'm not using any measurements. I'm just gonna use my eyes and look at it, okay? So this is probably about, I'll say that's about 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and then you're gonna do 1/4 cup of flour. And then, like I said before, just mix it all together. And this is going to create a nice velvety texture on your wings, but you gotta let it sit. And then even after it sits, you're gonna still come back and just mix it up one more time before you drop it in the grease. All right, so I'm gonna come back once everything's marinated and ready for the fry. All right, here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to drop our wings in. Pull my basket out of here first. Again, let me try to get a little closer here. All right. I think I'm gonna actually just go ahead and just drop them straight in here. All right, and so I'm gonna let these fry. So my camera had cut off, but what I was saying is that for the first fry, you want to make sure your grease is not too high. I would go no higher than about 335 if you're using a deep fryer. If you're frying on top of a stove, I would say about medium to medium high. Like it really depends. Everybody's stove is different. It depends on if it's gas versus electric versus an induction. So, but you can always use a thermometer to check the temperature of your grease. But I fry at about 330 for about 5, maybe 7 minutes or so. It just depends on how big the wings are and how many wings I have in the fryer. I'm using my big fryer, so I could get about 16, 17 wings in here at one time. But either way, you're going to fry them for about 5 to 7 minutes. Take them out of the grease. Turn your oil up to about 375 and let your wings cool for about 15 minutes or so. Then drop them back in that hot grease on 375 for another 5 minutes or so. When I say they're going to be perfect and crunchy, that's the key. And also, of course, making sure you're using some cornstarch. So once this first fry is done, I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to wait about 15 minutes, turn my heat up to 375, and then I'll finish them off, okay? All right, so it's about time to pull these wings out. They've been frying at 330 for about 6-7 minutes, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this up out. I don't know if you guys can see. You can see those wings. Let's bring them over here. So this is our first fry. And I'm just going to take them and just dump them straight out. No, I'm not. I'm going to take them out one at a time. I don't want to lose my batter. I don't want to lose the crust on my chicken. Because remember, they're not completely done. But they are already crunchy. What I'm going to do is turn my heat up. Let me show you guys now. So you can just see. This is what it looks like after about 7 minutes or so. Okay. And I'm just putting them on my wire rack here. Then I'm gonna go ahead and put this back inside the grease, and I'm gonna turn it up. But I want you guys to hear, if you can. Hold on, let me see if I cover up this fryer. If you can hear a little bit better. Yeah. Anyways, I just want you to, so you can hear, it's already crispy. But when we put it in on that second fry with that heat up, it's gonna be nice and crunchy. So, anywho, here's our first fry. And I'm gonna let these sit for about 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna drop them back in the grease on 375. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. Remember, these were our first fried wings. And now we're going to put them back in the grease again. So I've turned it up to 375. I'm gonna bring my camera over so you guys can see a little better. And I'm just gonna drop these back in here. All right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to pull these out. So hold on. Pull them up out the grease. Let's see, we can move this over. You really see them here. go. And you already hear how crisp these things are here. So I'm gonna plate them up and let's see.